What's happening with it? This is your boy Tedashii, man, and you are watching The Be Shine. What inspired me growing up and influenced me, just to want to be a part of hip-hop culture was definitely me and my little cousin. I grew up in Texas, so Texas had kind of a hip-hop scene when I was a kid. I mean, the Ghetto Boys was doing their thing, but it was really me and my cousin were outside, and I remember running inside to get some water, and I heard this beat going. And then I went into the room, and on the TV was a video of Run DMC doing that thing, and that was kind of the first time I'd ever seen it. And I mean, they had the leather, and they were rhyming, but the beat was making you move, and I couldn't stay in long, so I got a taste of it. And I grew up in a home where my mom wasn't really a fan of hip hop. She didn't allow it. She just had horrible misconceptions of it. And then probably a year later, I got around my cousin and I heard LL Cool J's "I Can't Live Without My Radio," and that ripped the roof off for me. And ever since then, I was like, I wanna be a part of this. I wanna do something in it. I wanna eat, sleep, and breathe this thing called hip hop, man. Texas didn't really have a huge hip hop scene, and so I would get everything I knew about hip hop from TV and the little I could get from my older cousins. But I'm watching this award show, and all of a sudden, here comes Dougie Fresh, and he's doing his thing, and he's going off, and I'm watching this take place, and I'm looking at the crowd, and I'm looking at him, and then Dana Dane comes out, and I'd never seen anything like that, where they demanded the attention, commanded the attention of the crowd, and they were actually doing something that was resonating with my soul almost. It was weird, I didn't know how to explain it, but it hit me, and I remember leaving, like getting off the floor from watching that and going in the room and trying to be, just trying to do something to make a sound like he did, because I wanted that feeling like I felt when I was watching the show. And then eventually I'd start trying to put rhymes together just for the fun of it, and it kind of all influenced from there. So once I really started getting serious about hip hop, one of the things that I was doing was going where the kids were going, so to speak. So I would literally go downtown and walk where all the kids were going in the club they were going in. And when a beat came on, I would get a circle going and we'd rap right there. And I'd freestyle off the top of the head, or I would be on the street outside the club and the beat would be going, and you could feel the vibe of it enough, and we would just rap to the beat right there with people walking by. That was a part of the culture where everybody could relate to it from wherever they came from, and we could join in together and celebrate this thing called hip hop, and then, shine a little bit too. When my mom found out I was gonna take it more serious, there was a little frustration, because in her mind, growing up where she grew up, I mean, education was everything. You don't make it without an education. And I was definitely in college and trying to get my degree, but this was where my heart was, and it was weird because she was loving and supportive, but frustrated and angry. It was like a weird world. But I remember rocking my first show and having her come out to it, and she saw the crowd and she heard the music, and she was like, my idiot son is doing something good. Like, she was blown away by it. And so ever since then, man, she's been a fan. Like, she's the biggest fan. I mean, T-shirts made. I'm like, Mom, I didn't make that T-shirt. Like, everything. So she's loving it. One of the biggest challenges I've had to overcome, I believe, has been taking a break from the music. I had a death in the family that really caused me to take some time, and getting back into it, even though I think I'm in the culture of hip hop, to produce music and to make a record that people will want to hear is an art in and of itself. And a lot of times that takes an attention and a focus that some people don't have, or they just kind of let go of or give up on because life is demanding other things. And man, I had to fight to gain that, in a sense, and regain that. And so when I did and dropped this album, I could feel that vibe again of, not just I'm back per se, but really people are feeling it. And so music has afforded me impact in ways that I've never had before. I'm huge on talking to young people, being vocal about my faith, but also being as much of a help as I can be to cats younger than me. One thing that I always say is the 25-year-old me looks back at the 30-year-old me and says, "You idiot, what were you thinking?" And so I'm hoping that as I progress older in life, that the younger me will look at the older me and say, man, way to go for us, way to live for us better, making wiser decisions. And so I just try to share that with everybody I can, like youthfulness is there, have some fun, make mistakes, but live in a way to where the older you can look at the younger you and say thank you. Honestly, the legacy I hope to leave behind is one where people said what he talked about, he lived it. I wanted to be as honest as I could be about what I believe, about my faith, but also about who I am as a husband, a father, an artist, a member of this hip hop culture, and a participant in it. And all the while, I stayed true to who I was, real to who I was, and I didn't fail them on any aspect of that. I'm hoping if you're watching that you listen to what I'm saying and actually enjoy it. But man, along with the album Below Paradise that I just dropped, like, I hope you can get the sense of a real individual trying to talk to another real individual about this real life we have to live until it's no longer lived. And so, man, I hope that in some way you're impacted by what I do.